So hi guys, how are we all doing? So this morning I want to talk to you about sugar, as I told you last week, because as we all know, everybody's telling you to give it up. Now the first thing I want to tell you is that your brain is a lying, cheating, addicted traitor. Now when I say addicted, I don't mean addicted to drugs and alcohol, because addiction can come from foods as well, because we all know how easy it is these days to snack and go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Asda or wherever and pick up a bunch of snacks out of the snack aisle. So easy. And then you say, well, I've got depression and I just don't feel good anymore, and these snacks help me to get through my day. I eat a bar of chocolate and I feel happier. But yeah, you only feel happier for a very short time, because basically what your brain has done is said, we're feeling depressed, let's go and get a bar of chocolate, you can feed my dopamine, you'll be happy for an hour or whatever, and then you'll crash straight back down. And that's what sugar does for you. It crashes you down so very quickly, and it's the same with ultra processed food, but I don't want to go into that today because that's quite a complex one. So first of all, we have the refined sugar, so like the white sugar, the demerara, the brown sugar, the caster sugar. All of this is refined, so it's been super processed to make it turn out the way it is, because it wasn't a piece of white sparkly spoonful of stuff that you find in the bag like this. It's it was taken out of a field and it was then sent to the factories to be processed. Okay, so that sugar is the sugar that we put in our tea and in our cakes, and when we're baking we use it for all sorts of things, and depending on how much you use it will depend on how much it will affect you. Now, when I was in my 20s, I ran a transport company with my husband, and because we worked so hard all hours of the day, from 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 2, 3 o'clock, and then we wouldn't get home till midnight, we were just eating out of our food cupboard, which was Mars bars, crisps, and I don't think instant foods were around that much, but we had boxes of, the quick eats. And when I was having a cup of tea, I'd pile on the 4 sugars. No, I never put on weight then. I never put on weight, and the reason is because my life was not sedentary as it is now. I was hurtling about, I was delivering stuff, I was lugging stuff on and off lorries, pallets. So all of this used up the energy that was needed and that I'd fed it from my quick foods, you might call it. I never became pre-diabetic or diabetic. That never occurred. Nothing like that occurred to me until I got into my sedentary work of being a taxi driver and sitting in my car all day. All of a sudden I was getting pre-diabetes, I was getting high blood pressure, I was foggy minded, I had a foggy brain, I was tired all the time, and I couldn't understand why. And that's when I sat down and went onto YouTube and started following people like Eric Berg, and Thomas DeLauer was a big name in those days. I learned a lot from Dr. Berg, and going to other YouTube videos from what Dr. Berg explained, which is a very important thing when you're looking at an item like sugar, just refined sugar. Just go into YouTube and type in refined sugar and you'll have everybody telling you what it is and how bad it is. So I learnt that my state of health was due to the fact that I was eating a lot of crap. So yeah, going back to the brain, it really doesn't care how it's helped to feel good. So it can be food, it can be drugs, it can be alcohol. It wants to be happy all the time. So as with any drugs that you take, your brain will keep telling you to eat to feel good. When you're bored, it says I'm bored. So your brain will say, I'm bored, let's have something to eat. And it says, nice, something nice and sweet, because dopamine needs it. So you'll go and eat your cakes, and your brain will feel happy for a little while, but then your brain gets foggy and tired because it's got nothing nutritionally that's gone up to it to help it feel better, really better. I mean, help it feel good, alive and awake and not foggy. So this is where you need to understand that eating all these sweet things, these sugary things, are just not good for the brain. There's no nutrition going up there, so it's just going to stay foggy. It's just a question of cutting down on the sugar because, as I say, nutritionally it does your body no good at all. It's your brain lying to you. It wants a quick fix. So it's a question really about controlling the urge. So every time you're bored, you need to work out things that you can eat, that you can snack on when you're bored, that you will enjoy. I know that's quite a hard thing to say, but we'll go through stuff. We'll go through things that I do that when I'm bored stop me from eating the wrong foods. So that's one of the worst times, is maybe when you're working, you're sat at the desk, you just want something to bite, a quick cake, or it's break time, you just want a quick cake and a cup of tea with a pile of sugar on. Now your brain, which is the one that causes our depression and tiredness and fogginess, gets its glucose from the food that you've eaten, the good food that you've eaten. It needs fluid, so that's another very important thing, is you've got to drink fluids. Coffee is fine, needs to be black and sugar free, although adding milk is not a really big issue depending on how much you eat and that. With keto, basically what they say is black coffee is fine, drink as much as you want because it's got nothing in it that is going to affect you. It's like drinking water, tasty water. And that's why I drink it, because I hate water. But the minute you go into fruit juices, you know that's got sugar in it. And there are different types of sugars. Let me tell you about the different types of sugar. There's your refined one, which is your demerara and your sugar that you put in your tea and in your cooking and everything. So things like caster sugar and brown sugar and demerara sugar. So there's all those refined sugars. Then there's one called fructose. That comes mainly from fruit that you eat, and in the main it can be okay as long as you don't eat too many at the time. There's sorbitol. Again, that comes from particular fruits like prunes, and that's actually not a bad sugar because it's got some fibre in it, which means that when you eat it, and this is why they recommend it for constipation, because when you eat it, it tastes nice, super sweet. I mean, sometimes I eat, about 10 of them all together, all in one go, because it's super sweet, and I know it's going to help me in the morning, know what I mean? So then there's a very hidden one that is another one that's in ultra-processed food called maltodextrin. This is the one the manufacturers use, all the people who are making all the food for us, for easy food. I'm not talking about your butchers or your people who are putting in your organic meats in the cooler counter. I'm talking about all the ultra-processed food, and if you look at the back of the ingredients, very often you'll see that word maltodextrin. Basically, it helps make it taste nice, sweet if needed, but it gives it a taste that makes everybody appreciate it. And if you look into maltodextrin, again, talking about going into YouTube, putting maltodextrin in and getting people coming up and telling you about maltodextrin, some of the scientific talks are really quite good because they're not doctors on YouTube trying to flog you anything. They're actually taken from conferences that they've been at, and they're actually really interesting to watch. And I will add my guy that I liked from that in the next video on ultra processed food. And then there's sweeteners. Now sweeteners that you get in Coke or wherever, Diet Coke, Zero, whatever, they've all got to have some sweetness added because otherwise you wouldn't drink it. But these sweeteners again have absolutely no nutrition whatsoever. If you want to get your brain out of fog, you've got to start looking at the food that you're eating and what is being processed. And once your belly's happy and only the good stuff has gone up to the brain and not the stuff that it's telling you that it wants, the sugary stuff, then you'll start feeling far less foggy, lots more energetic. To end this video, I've just got to say, keep away from a whole lot of sugar. Yeah, you can put it in your tea a few times a day, not mountain load, but it's got no nutrition in it. It gives you a high for a little while, but apart from that, it's got no other goodness in it. So that's what I was saying the other day in the other video about you don't have to give up your sugar in your cup of tea if you're a builder or if you're active. That's why we're feeling tired, because we're eating all these cakes and with the sugar, and it's doing nothing for us, nothing for our belly, which is getting fat because it's storing it, nothing for our brain because it does it no good except feed dopamine for a little while, but then you crash back down. It's got no nutrition in it. So for as much as you can, keep away from the sugar, cut it down, and next week we'll look at the ultra processed foods and why it's so incredibly bad for you, but why it's been made so easy for you to get it. So this is xylitol, and this is the sugar that I've been using for many years now, since after COVID. Also erythritol, which is almost the same as this, but is not so easy to find in supermarkets, but you can look these two up. But this is plant-based, and this is the one I have in my tea. I do like my cups of tea through the day, so I need to have something, and you can include these in your baking. If you get up Patricia Delicious, she's a nutritionist and she does a lot of cooking. And she does a lot of cooking with using sweeteners. She calls them sweeteners, and then if you go into the description of the thing that of the item that she's making, she'll tell you which sweetener she's using, but usually she tells you it's erythritol or xylitol. So that's what she uses. But another couple of sugars that you can use is honey sweetener. Now I put this in my breakfast every morning. Now I get organic honey, this one's Staffordshire, and you need to make sure you only get organic, locally produced honey. Rouse or any of those others are again all mass produced, and I can't show you that today because I haven't got any of it, but if you buy that, if you look at the label at the back, you'll see it's been processed. It's ultra processed. It's had additions to it to make it runny or tasty or whatever, to stabilize it on the shelf for longer. But you just need to look at the back and make sure it's not processed. If you buy it from a local shop, local farm shop. The other thing is, I need you to look at this because it's maple syrup. Now, it is not all that good for you, but what you need to make sure is you buy it. It says organic. My pictures won't show that up, but that says organic there. And it needs to be Canadian, 100% from the organic maple tree. Now, when you read the ingredients, it's got very little processing on it, so it has not been processed, and that is suitable for vegetarians and vegans. Has had nothing else added to it, and you can just pour a little bit of that on your breakfast cereal or into your puddings and sweets, and it is nowhere near as bad as refined sugar. So yeah, hopefully this will help you, and I will catch up with you guys next time. Take care.